p.m. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Here.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yeah.
Mrs. Kapiskas,
Here.
Mr. Leclerc,
Here.
Mrs. Costa.
Would you please stand and join me for a moment of silence in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we have guests this evening. We have a presentation from Citizens Memorial Elementary School. Excellent, thanks. Move on down.
You know what? I'm gonna shut these down.
Huh?
So I get these done, I'm gonna shut them off.
I saw that. It was not you. I actually don't think I was going to try to get it. I was like, there's no way, but at least I tried it.
Boys and girls, please play safely and include others. Remember the sword. There is a new kid in room 15 named Gil. He is seen walking down the Tag, I think Tiffany. Yeah, absolutely. I see you too. I see you including Jay. I think you deserve a short card for being respectful. Thanks for calling. Hope your system eagles earn some card by being safe, on task, acting responsibly, and being respectful.
Okay, Ezra, I'm going to interrupt you right there. They couldn't hear you in the back, so we're going to do it one more time with the mic. Okay? I'm just going to pass it around. Okay?
Room 15 is lining up for recess.
Boys and girls, please play safely and include others. Remember to soar.
There's a new student in room 15 named Jay. He is seen walking alone near the fence.
Who should I play with? I have nobody to play with. Maybe I can play with the new student, Jay. Hey, Jay, do you want to play tag with me?
Sure, I would love to.
Tag, you're it.
Tag. Tag.
Tiffany, I see you included Jay. I think you deserve a sword card for being respectful.
Thank you, Mr. Stripes.
You're welcome.
Thanks for including me.
No problem.
Hope your citizens Eagles earn so cards by being
Safe?
on task
Acting responsibly.
and being respectful. I have to do that.
I think you all deserve a sword card for being an awesome audience.
Both your citizens. Yes. Thank you. This.
Oh, both of those.
PC, Pothier citizens, yep. So those were some of our fourth grade Eagles from the Pothier Citizens campus. We can give them one more round of applause. And the purpose of their skit was to demonstrate how students can earn SOAR cards at the Pothier Citizens campus. We have implemented a new PBIS system this year for the positive behavior supports and interventions. And the students have really taken to it. The staff members have reflected on the positive behaviors that we're seeing increase across the campus. And that was just an example of one way that students can earn cards. Over the past 2 years, we've expanded our PBIS system. We started first with the acronym SOAR last school year for safe, on task, act responsibly, and respectful. This year, those behaviors were defined for each of our learning spaces, including every individual classroom and other shared spaces throughout the campus. We also added on the SOAR cards this year. So for 2 years now, classrooms could earn SOAR stickers for whole class rewards. And this year, students can now earn cards individually, and they can cash in through the SOAR zone or the SOAR store. We've had a variety of ways to celebrate their accomplishments through assemblies, skits such as the one that you just saw. And there are also some lessons developed by our PBIS team to revisit and review the values throughout the year.
So throughout this year, our students have cashed in 13,245 SOAR cards, which they've been able to redeem for multiple prizes. There is a SOAR cart that goes around once a month that is run by our fifth grade SOAR ambassadors. So our fifth graders signed up, did an application, and they applied to be an ambassador. And then they go around with a staff member and they cash them in for different prizes, and they can also earn different activities as well. So as Ms. Feeney was talking about, they can do the SOAR zone, which is an activity they can go to and play games, build community with other members in other grade levels. And then there's also lunch with a friend. As you can see in our picture, you can dress up as an eagle. So one of our students cashed in 100 of his SOAR cards to dress up as the eagle during our pep rally for RICAS. And so he was able to go up on the stage and dance around. And we actually have 4 other students that just cashed in. So they just reached 100 SOAR cards. So it's teaching them how to save up, earn, and spend their cards wisely. So they take great pride in their SOAR cards. And then we also have the classroom SOAR rewards. So as a class, if they are demonstrating our SOAR expectations in the hallway, they can earn a class reward. That could be, we've had them come in dressed up in their pajamas. They can do, they did a little Valentine's Day activity in one of the rooms. So each room picks the goal that they're working towards. And as a community, they earn those SOAR stickers. As you can see, there's some student reflections and teacher reflections up there as well about how we've implemented SOAR and how they've noted how it's impacted them in their classroom and as part of the community. And then lastly, as part of our PBIS initiatives, we worked with Miriam that was in the high school and Leadership Rhode Island, and we created the think tank at our Citizens Elementary School. And so that's a space for students to connect, reflect, and restore to help them soar. And so that space is an area where they can do restorative circles, come and do calm down time. And as you can see, we took the left side as our conference room that we converted over into a space that has, fidgets for them to use, the kidney table for them allowed to circle up. We run social skills groups in there, and it's just a space for them to work together to build that community and that restorative time together.
So on behalf of the campus, we would like to thank you for being here tonight and allowing us an opportunity to present the work that's been done to improve our community and positive behavior and interactions among our students and staff.
Oh, is that why it's excellent?
Again, I want to thank the students and administration teachers for this great presentation tonight. And let's use our SOAR cards properly. Yeah. Let's enjoy them. And maybe... Al, hey Al, you could even be an eagle if you save enough cards.
I need to get the redeem. Can I use one?
Let's go into good and welfare. For anyone addressing the school committee during good and welfare, please begin with your name and address. Your comments shall be no more than 5 minutes of speaking time and should be in good decorum. Please be aware that the committee cannot respond to you during good and welfare, but may direct you to an appropriate member of the administration team or may meet with you directly after the meeting for further discussion. Does anybody want to address the school committee this evening?
My name is Melissa Bubble. I'm at 650 3rd Avenue in Woonsocket. I am a working mom. I'm also a busy mom. This message is for everyone who has wanted to come to the school committee meetings but hasn't had the time or the transportation or has oftentimes been nervous about talking in front of the school committee. I have news. I'm also nervous. Every time I get up here, I have my speech written because I often forget my lines. I'm just like you. I may not be stepping in front of, I may not like stepping in front of the school committee, but it has to be done. My voice, as well as a parent of a child who goes to a school that he loves, needs to be heard. And so does everyone else's. My question to the school committee is, can we make it easier to gain access to the knowledge of these meetings? Can we also meet these parents where they are? And when are we going to have meetings at the 3 schools that are discussed to be closed? During my dislike of this so-called mega school, as most of us have called it, because that's what it is, we're gonna have well over 1,000 kids at a school at a busy section that's already busy. I have found, talking to many parents of them, that they have no idea about the school committee or when these meetings are held or where. They need to be able to voice their opinion. They also most times have no transportation. I think we need to meet people where they are. I think hiding meetings and not encouraging the younger generation is not right. Our generation to come after us will most likely not be able to hold the school committee after you guys are gone. And most will probably not even think about attending. We need to be able to make sure that we educate the younger generation so that more suggestions to the school committee and more opinions can be heard. Things cannot change or improve without voice or any input. And if the school committee really wants to hear the opinions and the dislike of the so-called mega school, then I want to see when we're going to have the meetings at these 3 schools, because I haven't heard anything as of yet. And I keep getting asked, when will this meeting happen? because they cannot make it to these meetings due to transportation. I am just about ready to try to see how much it will be to rent a bus and pick these people up to bring them here. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to address the school committee this evening?
Good evening, folks. Donald G. Burke, 59 Edmund Street. First of all, I need to remove my hat as vice chair of the school committee and put on my hat as esteemed lecturing knight of Woonsocket Elks Lodge, number 850. And the reason why I'm doing this is I just want to remind the community about the Ernest Cardigan Memorial Fishing Derby, which is this Saturday, April 13th, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Sponsored by Woonsocket Elks and Woonsocket's Parks and Recreation. The Derby is open to all boys and girls 12 and under. So I'm sorry, Mr. Perrier, 12 and under. So please, come this Saturday, 6 o'clock is when the tournament starts. And we're going to offer, well, first of all, registration. Tomorrow and Friday, you can still register at Pete's Bait and Tackle on Burnside Street. If you don't register then, you can register the morning of the tournament, but you have to bring your own pole and your own bait, all right? We will be offering free hot dogs, juice, hot chocolate, hot coffee, trophies, gifts. We will be giving out raffles all morning long, okay? So I hope the community already knows about it. We've been through the schools. All the schools know about it. I've been through the newspapers. Everywhere I've gone, I've been announcing it. So I'm hoping everybody comes because this is also the first derby that I've coordinated. So I'm hoping people show up. Where is it? Thank you. Good question. Cass Park. The fishing derby. I'm sorry. Thought that was, but it's a good question. The fishing derby is at Cass Park, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll be there at 4:30. Anyone else can join me if they like. We got to set up. So we'll be busy there. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope the boys and girls of Woonsocket do come. It's been going on for like 70 or 80 years. I bet you Mr. Bourget, when he was 10 years old, was down there fishing in the Derby.
That was during the Civil War.
I'm sorry, what?
That was during the Civil War.
Civil War. Okay. Well, thank you. Hope to see you all. Remember, Fishing Derby, April 13th at Cass Park, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hope to see you all there. And now I'll take my Elks hat off and return to the vice chair of the Woonsocket School Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Oh, man.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the school committee? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go into recognitions and announcements. Dr. McGee, I don't know if you have a fishing derby on the horizon, but you can address that as well.
I'm not a fisherman, but I'm always willing to learn new activities. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to recognize our amazing citizens, elementary school students who were here this evening with their presentation. I want to thank their teachers. Tonight, they showed us all what leaders we have at Citizens Memorial, as well as good citizens, and they've done a terrific job with the SOAR cards and promoting kindness and students being respectful of one another and of the adults there. So I want to thank them for a great job there. The Woonsocket High School Festival concert was held. The high school band and chorus students held their annual concert on March 21st. Mrs. Kapiskas, at the last meeting, I think I said that I missed the deadline. So I didn't miss the deadline this week. And many of us were there in attendance, and our high school music students did an amazing job. And they're just so talented, and it really is a pleasure to go out there each year and watch their multiple concerts. So I want to thank the students and their teachers. On March 27th, 41 Woonsocket area career and technical students, seniors representing all of the 10 programs were celebrated at the Skills USA Rhode Island Awards ceremony. Health Careers juniors Isabella Piet, Angelia Ortiz, Ariana Hay, and Leilani Sanchez were awarded the bronze medal for competing in health knowledge in the Health Knowledge Bowl. Congratulations to all of these talented students and their instructor, Mrs. Bacon, for a job well done. Recently, the Woonsocket High School student athletes from the baseball, softball, and volleyball teams received a hands-on instruction on how to react when a person suffers from cardiac arrest on the field or court. This instructional program was provided by an EMS coordinator educator who's also a member of the Rhode Island Disaster Medical Assistant Team, along with 14 other staff members. Our student athletes received group lectures as well as specific training sessions where the players were paired up with an instructor. These students have expressed that they are truly grateful for this training and will hang on to every word of the life-saving techniques that they were taught over the 90-minute session. A special thank you goes out to Woonsocket High School baseball coach Tommy Brian for spearheading this important training for our student athletes. Congratulations to all of our student athletes who participated. And with that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my recognitions and announcements.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. Any comments or questions? Then I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the recognitions and announcements. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll go into the approval of minutes, and I'll make a motion to approve the March 27, 2024 closed meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Burke and Mrs. Costa. Any changes, corrections? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kapiskas,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll make a motion to approve the March 27, 2024 meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Any change to those minutes? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kapiskas,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Now on to the consent agenda, and I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Burke and Mrs. Costa. Any member want to take any items for discussion? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kapiskas,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
We will not have a report from our student representative this evening. So now I will ask you, Dr. McGee, to give us your superintendent's report.
Mr. Chairman, so I'm going to begin with personnel matters update. Excuse me. You have this on your laptops. So we continue to try to add positions, even though we're at the tail end of, or approaching the tail end of the school year. We've added a full-time custodian at Woonsocket High School, a teacher assistant, PCA, personal care assistant at Pothier Elementary, and a teacher assistant at the high school. We are continuing to hire for our stipend and extracurricular positions, specific to some summer programming that we have, as well as a graduation coordinator for Woonsocket High School who will oversee the graduation with Mr. Ernest and his leadership team. Next, I'd like to speak briefly about the contract negotiations. As the committee is aware, we started contract negotiations with the Woonsocket Teachers Guild. We've had a series of many meetings in which we have exchanged proposals. We are continuing to do that. We're looking at some point towards the middle or the end of May to start looking at the fiscal part of the negotiations, as right now we really don't have a very specific idea of what our budget will look like. And we want to wait a little bit later to get a better sense of what that's going to look like before we begin the fiscal contract negotiations. But we have been making progress with the operational portion of the contract negotiations. A quick update on the Cass Park Athletic Complex and Clubhouse. We recently had a meeting, myself, the chairman, Mr. Notariani, and Nancy Giordano, our athletic director. We had a meeting with the architects who are working on and planning on the Cass Park Athletic Complex. We've talked about fields. We talked about locations of fields. We've talked about the clubhouse as well. So that is going along nicely. We're going to be meeting with them again. I'm not sure. I don't believe we've scheduled our next meeting, although we're going to be scheduling that meeting soon to make sure that we're providing the city with all of the needs of the school department with respect to the fields as well as the clubhouse. And lastly, end of school year events. Each committee member has a link to the end of year events across the district. Some of them are already in this spreadsheet, and this is just an opportunity for the school committee to be informed as quickly as those events are scheduled, so that you know when and where. And I know every year there's something that's scheduled on a school committee meeting night, so I know we're going to do our best to try to avoid that if at all possible. But you do have access to that. I want to thank my assistant, Kim Blaze, for coordinating that for everyone. So with that, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. Just a couple of things on the contract negotiations. The reason that our fiscal numbers have not been available, it's not because we're behind in our budget process, it's because we're waiting for the state to finalize the revenue sources, because there's been many districts that have sent resolutions to the General Assembly and to RIDE discussing maybe the school formula, the funding formula needs to be addressed, especially the governor's budget, which has cut the CPI increase from 6.2% to 3.9%. So we're hoping that by sometime in May, we'll have better numbers, and then we certainly can discuss these numbers with the negotiation team. The second thing is the Cass Park Athletic Complex and Clubhouse. As we know that there's a contemplation by the mayor and some of the city councilmen to build a community center at Cass Park near the football field, and that's still a discussion. Approximately half of that building would be housing our clubhouse. The rest of it would be for the community, but city council just recently had meetings, and that some of the councilmen aren't sure if they want to put the clubhouse there or elsewhere in town. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens to that building. If the community center is not built at Cass Park, like the mayor is really pushing to do, then a separate building will have to be built. And again, from the councilors that called me, they would be using ARPA funds or some other kind of funds to build a clubhouse. In any case, we'll have a clubhouse at Cass Park for our athletes. Anyone else have any comments?
Chairman?
Vice Chair Burke.
Dr. McGee, did you say Cass Park?
Why, yes, Mr. Burke, I did say
Did you
Cass
know
Park.
this Saturday, April 13th, from 6 to 11 at Cass Park, there's a fishing derby?
Why,
Oh, man.
Vice Chairman Burke, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Vice Chair Burke, will you be giving out hats at Cass Park?
If you come and work, I will.
Oh, there we go. At
Thank you.
4:30, right? Anyone else? I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the superintendent's report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next to last, Mr. Notoriani to give us his technology facilities update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you have a SOAR card, you can use it at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The report will be brief. As of today, we have 58 work orders in the system for our technology technicians. They continue to work to resolve issues as quickly as possible. I'm hoping to have this number under 10 by the middle of May. In addition to that, there are no active projects or major projects, I would say, other than they've prioritized or been instructed to prioritize any work requests and support necessary for the state assessment window that's ongoing into the next couple of months or whatever. The data staff continue to provide support for our systems and applications. Specifically, our staff are assisting with the initial stages of future student scheduling for the upcoming school year, along with preparing for our vendor year processes. Student registration, as of today, we have 90 kindergarten registrations, which, looking at the numbers from prior years, we're about the same level as we were at this time of year last year for registration. So the trend is staying even as of right now. And for facilities custodial services, as of today, we have 221 work orders in the system. Approximately 1/3 of them are assigned to outside vendors or contractors, which means it's not our physical staff that need to work on those things. It's stuff that we're waiting either for the plumber or the HVAC technician or whatever vendor needs to work on an issue. There is no safety and security update as of this evening, and there is no transportation update. And that concludes my report. Very brief.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for Mr. Notoriani? I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the technology facilities update. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have no unfinished business. We have one item in new business, which is, and I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the approval of the amendments to the graduation policy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Mrs. Kapissis, want to take this?
I'd be happy to. It was brought to my attention late last week that when we approved the new graduation policy, that we had omitted to provide certain credits that were required under the current graduation requirements in that policy. Dr. Holt brought that to the attention of Ms. Blaze. Ms. Blaze notified me. She asked if I thought it needed to go before policy, and I didn't think so because the change was de minimis and it wasn't anything we could alter. It's not something we could discuss or change. They're simply credits that are required. So the policy was amended to add those credits. If you want an explanation as to what they are, Dr. Holt is here and she could provide that.
Yep. Dr. Holt?
Thank you. So the amendment is to inform that students need to earn 3 credits from a bucket of categories, including PE, computer science, and the arts. It's a total of 3 credits. The way it had been listed was that students would need to earn a full credit for computer science, and it's typically a half-credit course. So we wanted to make sure it was clear that the 3 credits that they needed to gain from those 3 categories didn't need to be a full credit from arts or computer science. Students do need to take PE, and that needs to be a part of the 3 credits, but it does not need to be a full credit of art and a full credit of computer science.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:34 PM. Do we have a second?
Ooh, second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.